Okay, here's a writing assignment for you. I want you to find an object, any object at all, and I want you to share a story about it or tell the story about it. You can write it down, you can tell a friend. I'm going to do mine right now. There's this button here, my love button that I got from a company called, oh my gosh, I think it's called Love Ball. They're based in Vancouver, British Columbia, here in Canada, and I ordered one years and years ago from their site because I thought they were amazing, and I wore it all the time. It was like a badge of honor. I wore it on my coat, and one day I was sitting in the hospital. I was in the mental health unit with a family member, and I was in the waiting area, and there's a woman in there waiting, also in the waiting area, who's having a really challenging time, very upset, scared, sad, and my heart went out to her, and we were like the only two people in this space, and I just couldn't sit there and do nothing. I mean, I was just waiting. This space is very uninspiring and does nothing to lift anyone's spirits. So I decided to take my love button off and pass it to her, and I thought that she might use a little bit of love in that moment, and we passed some time together. Then years later, maybe 2 years later, I was downtown in our thrift store, one of our vintage shops here in Peterborough called Statement House, and lo and behold, this love button was one of the buttons I had for sale, and I bought it, and it just made its way back to me. The love found its way back, and that made me so very happy. And I still think of that woman who I met that day and hope that she's doing well, and that perhaps she was doing so well that she then gave her button to someone else. And that's my story about the love button. But I'm sure you have a story in you about anything. Like I said, it can be absolutely anything. For example, I could tell you a story about my jean jacket. It was a hand-me-down from one of my childhood friends who we're still close friends with, Kathy. Do you recognize it? Yeah, I could tell you a story about pretty much everything I own. There's stories everywhere. So next time you think that you don't have anything to write about, pick an object, any object, and tell its story.